Have you ever stopped to think about what your sex life would be like if it suddenly changed completely overnight? Have you ever imagined undergoing surgery and afterward discovering that something you considered essential simply no longer works like it used to? And the worst part, no one told you this before. What happens to a man after he has his prostate removed? Does the pleasure disappear? Will the erection never come back? Or is there something even deeper, more frightening, that most people only discover after it's too late? The truth is that many men enter the operating room believing that they will be cured, and they leave with a type of wound that does not show up on exams. An invisible wound, a silent loss. Something that affects much more than the body. It affects masculinity, self-esteem, marriage, pleasure, identity, and the most shocking thing? This is much more common than you might think. Men of all ages have discovered the hard way that sex after prostate removal will never be the same, and some simply can't do it anymore. But why doesn't anyone talk about this openly? Why so much silence? Why do so many men prefer to suffer in silence rather than say out loud that something is not right? Is it out of shame? Is it out of fear? Or because they think they are the only ones going through this? In this video, you will discover the truth that leaves many men desperate after prostate removal. And when I say desperate, I'm not exaggerating. Some report that they have completely lost their desire. Others say they still feel pleasure, but it feels different, weird, meaningless. And there are those who say that the biggest impact was not even on the body, but on the mind, on the heart, on the relationship with his wife, on his confidence as a man. But don't worry. This video isn't meant to scare you. It's to prepare you. It's to warn you before you have to go through all this without knowing what to expect. It's to show you that there is a way out, that there are ways to face this phase and recover your intimate life, even if it will never be exactly the same as before. Because what you'll learn here could completely change the way you view sex, pleasure, and your own identity as a man. And it can avoid a deep pain that thousands of men have lived in silence. Stay with me until the end, because what I'm going to reveal from now on can free you from an emotional abyss that no one should face alone. Many men have deep doubts about what happens to their sex life after prostate removal, but are afraid to ask. Others don't even know that it can directly affect how they feel about being a man. And the worst part? Many discover this on their own, too late, when they are already facing irreversible changes in their body and mind. The truth is that there are realities that no one talks about before the surgery, and when the penny drops, it drops heavily and in silence. What was once natural, pleasurable, and simple can turn into frustration, insecurity, and even silence within the marriage itself. It is at this moment that many ask themselves, why didn't anyone warn me? Or, if I had known this before, I would have done everything differently. Life changes, the body changes, and with that, wounds appear that don't bleed, but hurt inside. Therefore, it is essential to be well informed. This channel was created with one purpose: to prevent you from discovering prostate problems when it is too late. Sign up now, because here you will have access to vital information to protect your men's health. Imagine waking up after a delicate surgery, with your mind full of doubts, your body fragile, and your heart squeezed by a single question. Is my sex life over? This question, as uncomfortable as it may seem, echoes within thousands of men who undergo prostate removal. It's not just a physical issue. It's emotional, it's intimate, it's deep. And that's why it needs to be spoken with clarity, respect, and compassion. Many people think that this surgery means the end of masculinity, the desire will disappear, or that the body will never react again. But is this true? Does everything really change after the prostate is removed? Let's get straight to the point, because you deserve to know the truth without beating around the bush. The prostate is deeply linked to a man's sexual life, but it is not responsible for everything. She produces part of the semen, yes, but pleasure, excitement, and erection involve other structures too, such as nerves, blood vessels, and hormones. And therein lies the detail that many people ignore. During surgery to remove the prostate, especially in cases of cancer, there is a risk of damaging these nerves that pass very close to the gland. And when these nerves are affected, it can have a direct impact on erection. Now stop for a moment and think with me. What would you feel if after such an intense surgery, your body no longer responded the way it used to? What would you do if the desire was still alive inside you, but your body's response was different? This is why so many men become desperate, because it's not just the body that changes, it's self-esteem, it's the relationship, it's the fear of no longer satisfying your partner. There is a constant doubt as to whether everything will return to normal one day. And that, my friend, hurts inside in a way that not everyone can explain. And no, it's not an exaggeration. This is real. This is what many men live in silence. Some avoid the subject out of shame. Others try to pretend that nothing has changed. And there are those who simply remain silent, believing that they are alone in this battle. But let me tell you one thing in all sincerity. You are not alone. Thousands of men go through this every year, and each one has a different story, with fears, challenges, but also victories. Yes, victories. Because even in the face of difficulties, there are paths, there are treatments, there is hope. Today, there are resources that help with the recovery of erectile function after surgery. They are not miracles, but they are real. Medications, specific therapies, devices that help with erection, and even sexual rehabilitation with qualified professionals. But none of this helps if the man doesn't have emotional support. If he closes himself in his own fear and doesn't seek help, the pain grows inside, like a wound that never heals. Therefore, it is essential to talk, to understand that changes do not mean the end of sexual life, but rather a new stage that can be lived with pleasure, with affection, and with dignity. And here's an essential point. Many men, after facing prostate removal, discover a new way of experiencing intimacy. Yes, it is true. With more dialogue, more emotional connection with the partner, more freedom to explore affection, touch, pleasure in other ways. Sex is not limited to a single function. He is much more than that. He is the connection between two bodies, two souls, two hearts. And when this is understood, fear begins to give way to reconstruction. But of course, you can't romanticize pain. There are men who face serious difficulties, who cry alone, who feel powerless, ashamed, even rejected. And all of this needs to be said with courage, because it's only when the truth comes out that healing begins. And this video is about that, about opening your eyes, talking about what almost no one has the courage to say, and helping you understand what can happen, how it can happen, and most importantly, what to do about it all. Now, one thing is certain. The sooner you take care of your health, the less chance you have of needing to undergo surgery as invasive as this. It's not just about sex. It's about quality of life. It's about being safe, informed, and making informed decisions while there's still time. Because the worst pain is the one that could have been avoided. And if at any point you felt touched by this subject, identified with some part, or even thought of someone who is going through this, it's because this conversation needed to happen. And now, with a more open heart and a more conscious mind, I want to make an invitation to you. Reflect on the value of your health, the value of your masculinity, the value of your intimacy. All of this deserves care, deserves attention, deserves respect. Before we move on to what I'm going to reveal to you now, take a deep breath and answer me honestly. Have you ever stopped to think about how your intimate health is today? Have you been having routine exams? Have you spoken honestly with your urologist? Or are you putting it off out of fear, shame, or carelessness? Be honest with yourself. This answer could change the course of your life. If you felt touched, moved, or even relieved to know that you are not alone, I want to invite you to leave a comment below saying, "I needed to hear this today." This will show me that this content is reaching those who really need it. And if you know someone who is going through a difficult time, share this video. It could be the hug that person needs right now, even from a distance. And don't forget to leave your like, because when you do, YouTube understands that this video is important and delivers it to more people who need this information, it really saves lives. Another impact that is little talked about, but which profoundly affects men after prostate removal, is the change in the way the body responds to pleasure. Many report a strange, different feeling, as if something is missing, and it's not just impression. The truth is that after surgery, orgasm will never be exactly the same as it was before. This happens because the prostate is a gland directly involved in the composition of semen and the sensation of male climax. When it is removed, part of that experience is transformed. The pleasure still exists, but it manifests itself in a new way, less intense for some, more confusing for others. And here begins a dilemma that almost no one prepares men to face: how to deal with a masculinity that has been built throughout life based on traditional sexual performance. Many men, even in silence, feel incomplete, insecure, and even ashamed. Self-esteem plummets. The desire to become sexually involved decreases, not because the desire has disappeared, but because of fear of not being able to live up to expectations. This creates a dangerous cycle of anxiety and frustration that, if not stopped, can even lead to depression. Some try to hide these feelings, pretending that everything is fine, but inside, they are in pieces. Others move away from their partner, ashamed to show that they are no longer the same man as before. This is devastating. Sexual life, which should be a space of connection, pleasure, and complicity, turns into a minefield of insecurities. But here's a liberating truth. You haven't lost your masculinity. It just needs to be rewired in a new way. The body has changed, it's true, but that doesn't mean the pleasure is over. It means it needs to be rediscovered. And this rediscovery begins with knowledge, patience, and support. Many men improve significantly when they understand that sexuality is not just in the penis or prostate, but in the entire body, in stimuli, emotions, and in the bond with the person you love. The touch, the exchange of glances, the emotional connection. All of this can rekindle desire and generate new experiences of pleasure, perhaps different, but equally intense and meaningful. This is where a fundamental role comes in, that of the partner. Emotional support at this moment makes all the difference. When there is dialogue, understanding, and patience, the couple can go through this period of adaptation together and emerge even stronger. That's why it's so important not to isolate yourself. Don't face this alone. There is help, there is treatment, and there is an active and pleasurable sex life after prostate removal. But it demands a new look, a new way of relating to your own body. If right now you are feeling insecure, discouraged, or even afraid to try again, know that this is more common than you think, and there's no shame in asking for help. Shame would be giving up on experiencing something as important as intimacy and pleasure due to a lack of guidance. Now, I want to make you an important invitation. If this content has touched you in any way, if you have already undergone this surgery or know someone who is going through it, write the phrase here in the comments: "I refuse to give up on my intimate life." This comment will show me that you are committed to your men's health, your self-esteem, and your happiness, and it can inspire other men who are struggling in silence. If you are here with me until now, it is because you really understood the importance of everything that was revealed. Did you realize that prostate removal is not just surgery? It's a turning point in any man's life, a moment that changes everything: the body, emotions, self-esteem, the way of experiencing sexuality, and even the way in which he sees himself as a man. But more than that, you understand that these effects don't need to be a sentence. It doesn't have to mean the end of your intimate life, much less the end of your happiness. What you watched here is more than a video. It's a warning, a hug, a cry of conscience. Because the truth is harsh, but it needs to be said. Many men only realize that something was wrong with their prostate when it is too late, when the symptoms became inevitable, or when the only solution was to completely remove this gland that is so important for men's health. But not you. You were here before this happened. You decided to inform yourself. He decided to take care of you. He decided to put his health first. And that, my friend, is something to be proud of. Do you know why? Because most people don't do that. Most ignore the signs, hide the symptoms, pretend that everything is fine, and then you regret it, cry, blame yourself, and realize that you could have avoided it. But then, it's late. You learned that the impacts after prostate removal go far beyond what is seen on exams. They touch the emotional, the psychological, the relationship with pleasure, with the partner, with self-esteem. But he also learned that there is a path, there is a light at the end of the tunnel, there is a solution. And it all starts with a simple but powerful attitude: talking to a urologist. Talking to a specialist doctor is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of intelligence, maturity, and care for those you love. It's one of the greatest proofs of love you can give to yourself and your family. A simple digital rectal exam, a PSA blood test, an honest conversation in the office. All of this can be the difference between living healthily or suffering the consequences of a silent illness. You may be asking yourself, but do I really need it? And I tell you, yes, because even if you don't have symptoms now, prostate cancer is insidious. It starts in silence, and when it appears, it may already be too late. Don't wait to feel pain to act. Don't expect to have urinary difficulties, blood in the urine, or problems with your sex life. Don't wait for a devastating diagnosis to understand the value of prevention. The best way to ensure you never have to undergo prostate removal is to take care of it now. And caring means acting. Make an appointment. Take the exams. Take every sign seriously, no matter how small it may seem. Your body speaks, and you need to learn to listen. Today, you received information here that most men don't even dream of knowing. You came out ahead. Discover what no one tells you. And this could be the turning point of your life. From now on, the decision is in your hands. You can leave this video and get back to your routine, or you can use this knowledge as fuel for change, to prevent, to live longer and better. And if you're feeling like you've learned something new, if you feel like this content has opened your eyes, then it's time to celebrate that. It's time to value your attitude, because it takes courage to face these issues. It takes humility to admit that you didn't know everything. And it takes maturity to recognize that it is time to act. So now, with a heart full of pride that you've made it this far, I want to make a special request. If you've made it this far, congratulations. This shows that you really care about your health and want to avoid problems before it's too late. I want to invite you to leave a comment saying that you watched the full video so that I can get to know you and know who is really committed to taking care of their own men's health. Also, check now if you are already subscribed to the channel. If not yet, click the subscribe button. And of course, if this video touched you in any way, if you believe it can help other men to open their eyes, then like and share it right now. You can save lives with a simple gesture. Most men only realize that something is wrong with their prostate when it's too late. In the first pinned comment, I left a link to a playlist that can prevent this from happening to you. Watch now before it's too late.